till the day I die.
Welcome back to the Jonah and Ben Podcast. Today is a rare Ben-fueled episode. It was his idea. This is his production. I'm here as the Jonah in Jonah and Ben Podcast, but I am extremely gleefully joined by my co-host, Ben.
Hello there. So, we have an interesting early game for West Coast standards. There's San Jose versus Los Angeles FC at Levi Stadium at 7:30 Eastern Time, so that's 4:30 Pacific. That's a odd matchup for that to be that early.
And what's the matchup?
San Jose LAFC.
In San Jose.
Yeah, Santa Clara.
Sorry. Excuse me.
So, in the last 5 games, San Jose has won is unbeaten in their last 5 at home against Los Angeles FC. But LAFC have taken one of the last 3 against San Jose with 1 draw, 1 win, and 1 loss, with their loss coming in May of last season. So
what you're saying is it could really be anybody's game between these two Californian rivals.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's good. You always want a game that's up in the air and that you don't know who's going to win.
Another interesting match, Toronto-Dallas in BMO Field at 7:30 tomorrow Eastern. The last time they played was 2022, where it was a 1-1 draw with Jonathan Osorio scoring for Toronto and, give me a second here, Orban, whatever, scoring for Dallas. And the last time one of those two sides beat each other was in 2019, where Dallas won 3-0 against Toronto with Dom Baggi scoring a brace and Bresson scoring for Dallas.
In terms of predictions, 61% of SofaScore users are picking, along with me, Toronto to win. 24% say draw, and a measly 15% are saying Dallas will win. Yeah, I'm going with a Toronto win here, probably 2-1.
Yeah, Dallas have been dreadful this year to start, so got to go Toronto.
And I don't know who their goalie, Martin Pays. Pays.
He's Dutch. He's going to be an Indonesian international.
Pays.
And then the biggest game of all for tomorrow night, it's Inter Miami versus your New York Red Bulls at 7:30 Eastern. Last time these two sides played, it was 4-0 March 23rd, where Lewis Morgan scored a hat-trick and Wickelman Carmona got a goal.
Of course, there was no Lionel Messi that game, but the rest of your Inter Miami circus did play, and they looked sluggish. They looked as bad as they really have since the Messi era has begun. Even with, again, old stars like Messi, Busquets, Alba, and the Drake Callender.
Yeah. Callender
didn't play.
The main player that's going to be injured for this game is Jordi Alba. He's out.
That is true. So you won't get that experience of Neil. Who's going to start right wing for them?
I don't know.
Morgan again? He doesn't really play right wing like that. So, but either way, you still would expect, you know, the stars of the game like Morgan and Messi and Suarez to, be at their best. The four guys who used to play in Europe, but the 4 forwards actually, if you say Morgan, who used to play for Celtic, but being Forsberg along with Messi and Suarez are your really former European stars in this game.
Last time the Red Bulls traveled to Chase Stadium, they won on May 31st against Miami, where Tom Barlow scored off a Luquinhas shot that hit the post.
A great run by Luquinhas. Unlucky, but Barlow was there to vacuum it up and he scored tap-in, which was the only goal of the game. Red Bulls completely dominated that game. A big reason, I think it was one of the last few games for Phil Neville as...
It was Miami. The last game.
The last game?
Yeah, it was. Tom Barlow got Phil Neville fired.
They were dreadful, so it should have been 3 or 4-0, but... What are you going to do? They still won. And now that's the first time they traveled to Miami in the new Messi era and Tata Martino. And that was a good picture to switch to it.
All right. The next game that it shows here, Philadelphia versus DC. Ugh. last time these two sides played, it was 1-3 Philadelphia in Audi Field, where Uva scored, Jack McGlynn, Daniel Gazdag, and Ted Pietro for DC.
Ben, I don't mean to be rude, but I didn't put my prediction for Inter Miami New York Red Bulls. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. Messi penalty, Suarez assist by Messi on a shot from the center of the box, bottom right corner. And for the Red Bulls, I like Stroud's injured. Frankie Amaya goal and Lewis Morgan at his home and his old away, assisted by Forsberg.
I got a 3-0 Red Bulls win.
Oh, come on.
I know, but come on. Look how dangerous the Red Bulls looked in the first game they played against Miami. They looked like one of the best sides in Major League Soccer.
Their age, yes, but I think this guy is a real reason he'll finish 2-2.
Yeah, but I got Forsberg scoring in like the 61st
and I have Nealis
minute.
giving away a stupid penalty.
Oh no, he's gonna do that. Either one of them.
Okay.
But Morgan brace, 39th minute and 82nd on a penalty.
Who would the other goal?
Forsberg in the 61st.
If he scores a goal, he's taking the penalty. But okay, let's move on.
We were on the DC Philadelphia game. In 2022, the worst year for DC really in franchise history. They ended up losing 7-0 at Philadelphia and 6-0 at home to Philadelphia.
13-0. Yikes.
So, Philly against DC. You got to go with Philly. Their history against DC. It's saying this current core for Philly. They're going to dominate this game.
Of course, DC have also had a massive upgrade from Wayne Rooney, the former Red Bulls coach Troy Lesane, but I'll also go with a Philadelphia Union win, 2-0.
Yeah, I got to go 4. But, I mean, they just came off a loss against Seattle, though.
4-0?
So yeah, 4-2. 4-2.
Oh, that's high scoring.
I got Christian Benteke brace, Gazdag penalty, 2 goals, and then Glesna's 89th minute header.
You know what? I was also going to go with the Gazdag penalty, and I'm going to pick the fun pick. And have a Ty Baribo header.
Dad will like that.
If he even plays.
All right, let's look at this Western Conference matchup between the Houston Dynamo and St. Louis City at 8:30 Eastern at Shell Energy Stadium in Houston,
Are picking
Texas.
the games that seem interesting to you, or just any game?
Every game, pretty much.
Okay.
With Hector Herrera being back for Houston, it looks like I think Houston's going to be back, and they look like they're going to be strong for the rest of the season, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, with a former Mexican star who used to play for Atletico Madrid, he's a solid midfield player. I mean, you have Houston, of course, who had a great cup run last year, winning the U.S. Open Cup when it was still a serious thing.
And they won it at Miami in a final.
Did. No Messi, but they did. They outplayed them, regardless. And they have had a, so far, pretty mediocre start, 4-1-4, 9 goals scored, 10 conceded. But at home, against St. Louis, who have 1 win in their last 5, I'm going to go for a 3-1 Houston.
I got to go with a 2-2 draw. But
really,
I have Jared Strouds and Gioacchini doesn't play for St. Louis anymore, so I got to go with Tim Parker, both former New York Red Bulls. Oh wait, shit! Stroud plays for DC now. Fuck. Pompeo then for St. Louis. Yeah, but last time the Houston Dynamo played St. Louis, it was 1-0 at Shell Energy Stadium in the CONCACAF Champions Cup with Sviatchenko scoring for the Dynamo.
Of course, 52% of SofaScore users agree with me, and only 29% agree with you. So,
all right,
take that as you will.
Nashville, Montreal seems boring as shit. So let's go move on to Chicago, New England.
That doesn't seem boring as shit.
That also seems boring as shit. So let's skip to the former MLS Cup rematch of Real Salt Lake versus Sporting Kansas City. So last time these two sides played was October 7th, 2023. I think that was Decision Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Midwest versus the Mountains. I like that.
With the Sporting Kansas City scoring 3 goals to Salt Lake's 2 at America First Field with Eric Tommy, Johnny Russell, and Alan Polito scoring for the Wiz, and for RSL, it was Jefferson Severino and Brian Vera, or whatever his first name is. In that game, Justin Glad also got a red card for RSL. So, win probability on Google is telling me that...
Who did you say? Nashville, Montreal? Or Salt Lake, Kansas City, you said?
This is RSL Kansas City.
I'm going to go...
At 9:30 Eastern.
Yes, tomorrow. Salt Lake with 3 wins in their last 5. They've won 2 straight. Kansas City have 1 win in their last 5. I'm going to go Salt Lake at home. I'm going to go for a 3-0. I don't think Kansas City really stand much of a chance in this game. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I'm going to go for the Riot. The Riot.
I'm going to one-up you there and go with a 4-1.
You really won't up me.
Chicho Arango hat-trick and Diego Luna.
Crooks 1, Gomez 1, and Arango 1.
For Austral, and then for Kansas City, it's got to be Alan Polito for me.
Not Eric Tommy. Tommy with a TH.
No. All right, then. The last game of Saturday's slate of games is Vancouver Whitecaps versus Austin FC. Last time those two sides played was July 12th, 2023, with Pedro Vite and Cordova scoring for the Vancouver Whitecaps and Redes scoring for Austin FC in a 2-1 Vancouver victory.
Both teams hot right now. Vancouver 3 wins in the last 5. Austin 4 in the last 5. So this is a tough matchup in Vancouver in Canada.
Of course, Vancouver, they're a great side. Saw them in person last weekend. So, Brian White, what a player he is. He's been on fire for the Whitecaps as of late. So, I got to go with a 3-0 Vancouver victory.
Well, he's no Jader O'Brien. Oh, wait. Yeah. Vancouver, Austin, they have one great player, and then they also have Diego Rubio. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Vancouver win. I think it could go either way. I think Gold, whatever, scores 1. And we get a goal from Ali Ahmed. And I think I like Alexander Ring. I'm going to pick him to score in the 74th minute. I like him. Just because his name is Ring.
He used to play for NYC, though. But I got to go with a 2-0 Vancouver win. Brian White brace. All right, next match. The first match on Sunday is New York City versus the Colorado Rapids. Their last time meeting each other was June 19th, 2022. It was a 1-1 draw with Talas Magno scoring and Barrios for the Colorado Rapids.
New York City are hot. They've won their last 3 after a very slow start.
Consider those last 3 games. Those have all been home games, so got to put an asterisk on that. And this,
put an asterisk.
No, I would, because
you don't put an asterisk
if you're only winning home games, you're not.
They're winning the games they're playing. They can. Do you want them to? What can they do besides win?
I see your point.
It's not an
asterisk. But of course, this game is in.
Is it a favorable schedule? Sure, but it's not an asterisk.
Of course, this game's at Citi Field tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Sunday. But
you're forgetting Alan Chapman refereeing.
Oof, that is the last time one of these sides won was New York City in 2019 with Haber and I can't pronounce that name scoring for the Pigeons. All right, let's move on to the next game.
I'm going to go for a Colorado 2-0 victory with Omir Fernandez scoring 1 and Mihailovic scoring a header in the 88th minute.
I got to go with 1-1 draw. My guy, Brock Carr, scoring for New York. I kind of like him. And then, obviously, Omir fucking owns them, so Omir.
I like Zach Steffen, and I think he'll keep a clean sheet tonight on Sunday at 4 o'clock.
And then the final game of this slate is the Seattle Sounders versus the Los Angeles Galaxy. Seattle coming off
another old rivalry, 2 MLS, very decorated clubs.
Seattle coming off a 3-2 win at a very impressive win at Philadelphia with a Raul Ruiz brace and Obed Vargas' first professional goal for the Sounders.
You're right. I thought the game was at... You're right. It was at Philadelphia, and Seattle put 3 on them. Now they travel back home to the most depressing ground in MLS. Facing not a great LAFC side. I do like Yoshida.
Galaxy.
Galaxy. Forgive me. I mean, Gabriel Peck is okay. Joveljic is like, I think Seattle have more firepower. I'm going to go for a 3-2 victory for Seattle.
These two sides...
I think it'll be entertaining.
Galaxy, at least, they concede so much. If there's now fireworks in this game, it's going to be impressive. But the last time these two sides met was on March 30th with a 1-0 Galaxy win with Gabriel Peck scoring in the 4th minute for Galaxy.
Because, Galaxy have scored 2.1 goals a game. They have the most goals of any Western Conference team so far this season, but they've also conceded 17, which is very poor.
Through how many games?
Through 10.
Through 10? Okay.
Yeah,
so that's 1.7 goals allowed per game.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Especially for a side who's number 2 in their conference. All right. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of Major League Soccer?
Well, currently, Messi's leading the goal-scoring category, I'm pretty sure.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. He has 9 currently.
Yes,
second is tied for second is Chicho Arango and Christian Benteke for 8. And tied for 4th currently is Luis Morgan, New York Red Bull.
Suarez.
And, Suarez for 7. Currently top of the assist chart are tied for first Dante Vanzer and Robin Lod for Minnesota. Tied for 3rd is Christian Espinosa and Lucho Acosta. And tied for 5th is Joseph Pansel, Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, and Quinn Sullivan.
I did not realize Raul Ruiz has 4 penalties already this season. He's been...
Of course, he had a penalty at Philadelphia.
He might be this year's Gazdag, which is the guy who gets like 14 penalties all made.
Yeah.
Of course, Gazdag missed his in his biggest moment, so maybe you don't want to be that.
What would you say is the match of the day for this weekend?
For Saturday or including Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. I mean, in terms of standings...
Besides the Red Bulls game.
Yeah, I don't want to be biased because you have 1st versus 3rd in the East. So I would go, let's say, an unbiased pick because I'm from New Jersey, so I'd be biased. I would have to say, honestly, Seattle Galaxy.
I gotta disagree with you.
I know Seattle's 9th, but they can still put up goals.
I gotta disagree with you and gotta go with Orlando versus Cincinnati.
I just don't like either of those teams.
I mean, they're not likable either of those two, but I hate both of their fan bases.
2 contenders, yes.
But they're considering last year's success for both of those clubs.
Orlando's 13th.
I know that.
They're bad too.
But they usually have slow starts. They always have slow starts.
Orlando. They picked it up. They did.
But these two sides.
They went far last year.
Cincinnati lost in the conference finals last year. Won the Supporters Shield.
Didn't go far.
And Orlando, they finished 2nd in the Supporters Shield race. Yeah, they did. And ended up in the Eastern Conference semis, losing to Columbus. Both of these two sides have lost
Crew last year. The Crew eliminated them last year, so they have a shared hatred of them. Yeah.
I don't really think there's much else to note for this weekend's slate of games.
So moving on to the UEFA side of things, we had our first legs of each tie, both in Germany. One German side winning, the one you wouldn't expect, Dortmund.
With Nicholas Füllkrug scoring, correct? What minute was that?
It was in the second half for Dortmund. It was in the 36th minute with his left-footed volley past Gianluigi Donnarumma. So Dortmund hold a 1-0 lead going into Paris, which is not what most people would have expected, especially against PSG, who previously put up 4 against Barcelona.
I mean, it's Barca, though. It's Barca. You can't really...
No, it's PSG, so...
Yeah,
I guess the question is now, who's more likely to go through? PSG, again, at home at the Parc des Princes, or Dortmund, who have the 1-0 lead on the tie?
I gotta go with PSG.
Really? Despite Dortmund having the lead?
No, because...
on aggregate?
Because PSG, they just look like a determined side, honestly. They look like they...
And scoring goals.
I get that, but it looks like that this might just be their year, honestly.
Like, Mbappe's last season here?
Yeah, honestly, that might just be it.
What do you predict the score going to be?
On aggregate, 3-2. 3-1 win for the Parisians. With Parisians. Sorry. Verratti still plays for PSG, no?
Oh, he's in Qatar.
Oh, he went to Qatar?
He's in Qatar.
Oil money's scrub. I gotta go with...
He's in Al-Gabidibam.
Not in the same league as Kaku, though. No. But so I got to go with Mbappe.
Qatar Stars League.
Yeah. Kimpembe. And Dembele scoring for
against his former and scoring again against his former club.
Of course, and he's gonna celebrate.
Like he did against Barca.
Of course.
He was too disrespectful for that. I find your lack of faith in Dortmund disturbing. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think PSG. I think it's going to be very similar to how Dortmund went through against Atleti in the quarters. I think PSG score early on an Mbappe penalty. They get the life back into it, and then bang, Dortmund equalize with Jadon Sancho, who had an incredible game against PSG in the first leg, scoring. And then PSG score again, thanks to Zaire Emery on an outside-the-box shot. But late on, around the 80th, 83rd minute, Mats Hummel's header puts Dortmund through to their first Champions League final in that decade. All right, so moving on. The big boys, the two, you could argue, probably it would be accurate. The two biggest clubs in Europe, if not, probably the world, Real Madrid and Bayern.
Al Ahly is the biggest club in the world. This is a fact.
Then the two biggest in Europe, the one who had won 11 straight league titles, and the one who has 14 Champions Leagues, including a three-peat in 2016-18.
So, I gotta say the favorite in this game has got to be Real Madrid. They have to be.
I agree that they are the favorite, but they were outplayed at the Allianz. But
they still got a 2-2 draw.
They did, and they were outplayed at the Etihad, and they still went through on penalties against Man City. So you can never count out Real Madrid.
It's Real Madrid.
It's Ancelotti.
It's Real Madrid.
In the Champions
That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
So they'll get their bullshit somehow.
So you have them winning and going through?
Of course, 1-1. And then 1-1 regulation. 10-9 on the penalty shootout with Neuer. No, not Neuer, but
Neuer would score his.
Upamecano still plays for Bayern, right? He misses his penalty. He's the 11th taker for Bayern.
And he misses it?
Yep, he skies it.
That would be embarrassing.
Into the supporters section of Real Madrid.
Yikes. I really wanted their Classicer final. So it's what I'm going to pick. I really want to see Harry Kane or Marco Reus win their first major trophy. Of course, Reus's only trophies were DFB Pokals, and he never won the big Bundesliga. And then when he gets injured before the World Cup, it's tragic. So, but then again, you could have Kane win his first ever trophy as one of the best strikers in the world. How he doesn't have a trophy at all is astounding, just because it's the history of the Tottenham. So, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Bayern win at the Bernabeu with Kane.
I don't get that.
They outplayed Real.
But they still only got a draw. They only got a draw, and it's 2-2 on aggregate.
Thanks to a Kim Min-jae mistake. That was an individual error. They still outplayed them.
If away goals...
From first to 90th minute, they outplayed them.
Or, in fact, Real would just be seeing out this current scoreline, and they just try to get a 0-0, honestly.
That's why I'm glad away goals are not really a thing anymore.
I think they should be, but to each their own.
It makes it more entertaining over each leg. Because now Real can't just park the bus for 90 minutes and just be like, okay, we're not going to try at all.
Yeah.
Offensively. My goal scorers will be Kane and Kimmich, the 2 Ks, and for Real Madrid, I will go with Ferland Mendy.
All right. Then my prediction, I got a scoreline. I'm going to go with...
You had 1-1.
I did have 1-1. So, for Real Madrid, I have Toni Kroos scoring.
Kroos.
And for Bayern München, I got to go with Upamecano to score. And then he misses in the shootout, the whole storyline.
You have him being the GOAT.
I have him being, I got to say, I know this is an MLS reference, but Dante Vanzera in that U.S. Open Cup game against Cincinnati.
That's not an MLS reference, then. It's
I know, but it's something I saw in person, so I got to go with that reference.
All right. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed this new episode of the Jonah and Ben Podcast. I have a Der Klassiker final. Ben has the Mbappe, whatever you call
storyline.
His training is what's the word I'm thinking for? audition for Real Madrid before he signs there on a free on £800K, £1 million.
It's too much money.
If he's the best player in the world.
Not comprehensible for the regular Joe.
For €1 million a week, yes. And that's before endorsements.
Yeah. Before taxes, obviously. But.
And welcome. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the podcast. We've been uploading more as of late. I don't know if that's going to continue happening, but I hope you guys really enjoy this new content.
Yeah. All right.
Close it out, Ben.
So my last thing to say is...